I think the biggest challenge of living with epilepsy is that on a psychological level, you, you start to distrust your own and question your own brain, your own body. I mean, I remember in recovering from one seizure a year or so ago, and of course, the physical ramifications. I mean, just my body feels like I'm been hit by a truck or something, right? And so I'm lying in bed trying to recover for about 2 days. Had to take that time off of work, and of course that's difficult. But as I was lying in bed, I'm thinking, where do you go when you can't trust your own brain? Thinking back, I think I felt very alone when I was first diagnosed, and didn't really know where to turn. It's Epilepsy is common, more common than we think, right? I mean, we hear 1 in 26 people has epilepsy, but it's still rare enough that I think most people may not have someone with epilepsy in their life, or they may not know that that there's a person in their life who has epilepsy. I started the diet in 2018. That's when I had my intake at the Johns Hopkins Center, and went through the initial. They do an appointment with a neurologist, with a dietitian, and then a full day education program. So 2018 was my first year, and then did follow-up appointments, and was seizure free for 2 years with that, and so happy with that success. I think 2020 happened, the pandemic happened, might have gotten a little bit off track here and there. I think everyone sort of the COVID-19 sometimes refers to the 19 pounds you gain being stuck at home, right? And so I definitely went through that, and so 2021 in February, I did have a seizure again, and that's when I went back to my doctor and doubled down on the diet, but also changed up my medication as part of that seizure management strategy. And so far that has worked. So I've been seizure free since then, and sort of knocking wood. The Johns Hopkins experience has been wonderful, I have to say. They're a great hospital, a very patient-centered approach. As a matter of fact, I've heard that they use Disney to train their people, their receptionists and everything. So they're very welcoming, very warm. My first appointment with the neurologist there was an hour. I mean, it's so rare in sort of, our pharmaceutical driven world, you sort of, the prescription pad doctor where you come in and they spend 7 minutes with you and give you a prescription, send you on your way. It's, so it was just a really positive experience, really, talking to and getting to know the doctor. I remember specifically when I walked in, and my doctor, Dr. Mackenzie Cervenka, is the doctor there that I work with. And she had her white lab coat, and she had a button here from, Society of whatever, and then a pin over here that was 2 pieces of bacon. And I said, "Wait, is that bacon?" She said, "Oh, we love bacon around here." And I said, "Yes, this is where I want to be," And so that was really the first experience. Like I said, they do a pretty thorough job of educating the patients when they do an intake, they do it as a group. So there was a group of, I think, 5 of us patients who were starting. And then there's follow-ups every 3 months for, I think it's 3 months for a year, and then every 6 months after that. And so that's the stage where I am doing follow-ups every 6 months. And again, each appointment is with both the neurologist and the dietitian. so they can also track what vitamins I'm taking and questions that I'm having or challenges that I'm having with the diet. So it's great support in that way. They've been terrific. It's hard to disaggregate when you're using both diet and medication, and which is helping more, which is doing what. I will say that as far as overall health, my blood markers have all improved. My HDL has improved, my triglycerides, my LDL did go up, but my doctor is less concerned about that, since it's, sort of a, the formula of heart health, sort of takes a number of different factors into play. But that's something I'm keeping an eye on. So, and I've lost weight, and, I feel good, and I don't have, the afternoon slump that I used to get, where I'd want to take a quick nap or have a snack or something in the middle of the day. My appetite has regulated, where, my breakfast today was a cup of coffee, and I'll probably eat my first meal at lunch, as I generally do. So it's definitely had benefits across the board for my overall health. And I've definitely found cognitively as well, people in meetings can't believe, I can't believe you remembered that. That was from a meeting, a year ago that we talked about that. And I feel like I've got this little, jump start on everybody else at work, because I'm just thinking quicker in a certain way. I attribute all of that to the diet, for sure. And so even, seizure freedom aside, I would continue doing this, even if I found that it wasn't effective for my seizures. But I do think that it's hard to describe. I feel like I'm on firmer footing when I'm in that level of ketosis. And my ketosis is generally around a 1.0. I measure once a week, more or less, a couple of times a week generally, with a blood ketone meter. So at 1.0 milligrams per deciliter, whatever it is, which is, again, I talked to my neurologist about it, and she said, yeah, that's about what we look for with the Modified Atkins Diet. And that seems to be a level that is sustainable without being an undue burden on my time and my life, and effective as far as many of the benefits of the diet. So when I started this diet, I started a blog, and it was essentially for my friends and family, to tell them why I'm doing this crazy thing, and why because I was worried they would all think that I was out of my mind and that bacon was going to kill me, and all these things. So I started a blog, and every week I would write some of the things that I've learned and some of the things that I had read and what I was experiencing myself. So kind of a mix of the personal as well as the informative. And in 2020, I had the opportunity to, and I'm a writer by background, as a matter of fact. I should mention that, my degree is in creative writing. And so this was also sort of an outlet for, to just keep on writing. In 2020, I joined a class that was a book writing class, and looked around and said, what am I going to write about? Well, I've got some of this material from my blog. Let me flesh that out a little bit and add to it. So it's been a wonderful journey. I mean, it's My Unremarkable Brain is the name of it. That title comes from my experience with an MRI scan, where I got the results sent to me in the mail, and it said status unremarkable. And so I said, well, that sounds about right. I think my fourth grade teacher would agree. So what I try to do in the book is kind of bring some humor to it, and my own personal story, but also explain in a very, very light way. It's definitely not a guide. I'm not a guru. I don't have the right letters after my name to speak with any authority about how the diet works, but I do explore a little bit of the history of it, Like I said, a surface overview of what low carb is all about, not only in the body, but in the brain as well. And then I had the opportunity to reach out to a lot of the experts in this field, some of the doctors, Dr. Eric Kossoff, and I interviewed Michel Lundell, who is a person with epilepsy. He invented the ketonics breath meter as a way of checking his own ketones. And so it was a wonderful chance to just connect with a lot of the people who are doing work in this field and hear from them directly. A woman reached out to me through Instagram, I think, and sent me a message and said, I've just read your books. Thank you so much for writing it. I understand what's happening to me now, and I feel better about it. And that was just, just right to my heart. That was, exactly why I wrote this book,